we've all had friends, and they would call these people high verbals. You ever had a friend that never shuts up? I'm one of those. Somebody's a high verbal. And then there are friends we all have. You go on a car ride, and they're just content listening to music and not talking for 3 hours. I dated a girl like that once. It didn't end well. I tend to need verbal people. I'm a high verbal. I like verbal people. But there are people that are just as happy or happier. They're nonverbal people. They comprise their own thoughts, keep it to themselves, enjoy music and quiet. There are 2 jobs in America that you absolutely have to be verbal: a quarterback and an air traffic controller. Yeah, if those 2 United Flight 747s are headed toward each other, you may want to press the mic and talk a little. Take a right, Flight 0734. You got to talk. That is why the quarterback position is a highly verbal position. That is why many of the quarterbacks, Bradshaw, Aikman, Fouts, Gannon, Sims, Romo, Dilfer, both Hasselbacks, Esiason, Marino, Kurt Warner, Trent Green, Steve Young have all been on TV, and Peyton Manning would be a home run if he wanted to. They're verbal people. Quarterbacks need to talk. They're coaches on the field, constant communication. Last night, the NFL used a new camera angle. They call it the Madden angle or the Sky Cam. I absolutely love it. I was a crappy high school quarterback, but I had to memorize a playbook, and this is sort of what you look at. Did you notice with Marcus Mariota how many moments in that game there was a lack of communication with his wide receivers? Why? You finally see the problem. In my years of interviewing quarterbacks, I have never met or talked to a less verbal quarterback than Marcus Mariota. I'm not blaming him. It's a DNA thing. I interviewed him for 14 minutes on tape at ESPN. He was smart. We could use 4 of it. I was pulling words out of him. I asked somebody else who'd interviewed him a month earlier. It was the same. That was escalated because he went to Oregon where they don't talk either. They use sandwich boards. Watch him on the sidelines. He doesn't talk. Multiple times in the game, they talked about communication issues. It's week 11, OTAs, exhibition, practice every day. You see Brady, you saw Manning, you watch Warner, you see talk, communicate He is a non-verbal kid in a verbal position. Now, he can have some success. There's no question. He is so gifted, so tall, so talented, so mobile, he will have success. But it was striking last night to watch how many times the announcers either referred to it or you had a clear communication issue. It's not always the wide receiver. A quarterback is a coach during a game. That's why coaches wear headsets, to communicate with coaches, then often with assistants, coordinators, players at halftime, in pregame, in timeouts. I'm not saying he can't be successful. He already is. But in my years of interviewing quarterbacks, he is the least verbal quarterback I've ever met. Left guard, nose tackle, Sam linebacker, punter, fine. This is a verbal position. And his personality, he is very nonverbal. Oh, I know, I'll get feed pushback. Well, he talks to people we gonna like everybody? You're either a verbal person. Any ladies listening, men, have a partner, dated, don't talk. People are different. He's nonverbal. He's just not an overly verbal guy. And last night, 3 years, OTAs, 11 games, practices. There's still so many communication gaps in this offense. And for the first time seeing it last night, it was obvious. So, one of the things, this used to bother me. Goulet, this used to bother me. When I would hear people say, likability matters. And I was always like, as a young broadcaster, who gives a rip if you're likable? Are you competent? But as I've aged and I've grown up, I do realize that working well with others, helping others is a really key thing in this business. Not that I was a bridge burner, but I was just immature. It was about me, and I was just, blinders on. getting along with people is a big deal. But that said, competence and qualifications trump it. So Jared Goff and Case Keenum, Rams-Vikings quarterbacks, meet this weekend. It's a really good game. I think I like the Rams. Jared Goff last year under Jeff Fisher, it was a shipwreck. You and I both wondered if Goff was an NFL quarterback. He has now been sensational with a new offensive-minded coach. Case Keenum last year also played. You never thought Case Keenum was capable of winning streaks. He is with Minnesota. Jeff Fisher was available and candid and nice and had history and a cool old-school football vibe. I like him. But when the rules changed a decade ago, Jeff didn't change with him, and he did not pivot. Happens all the time. Smart, capable people don't pivot well. Likability kept Jeff around for a long, long time. Look at the numbers, Goff and Keenum, last year under Fisher and his staff, and this year. It is incredible. 14 TDs and 18 picks to 27 TDs and 9 picks. Completions, wins, passer ratings. This is what I've said about Rex Ryan. He's a great guy. He's available. He's likable. He's fun. He's in the club. But the rules have changed. Rex is no longer an NFL head coach. I'm watching Mike Mularkey. Apparently, he's in the club. The Titans quarterback, running back, receivers, tight end, and O-line are all at least average to above average. They're a mess. He didn't win with the Bills, the Jags, the Titans. He's 35-50. He's in the club. Listen, I don't think you evolve just to evolve, but this is why you should give new people opportunities in any industry. Look at Goff and Keenum in 1 year. We were bailing on him. I'm guilty too. I was bailing on Jared Goff. I'm like, I've watched every snap this year of Jared Goff. He may throw the best deep ball in the league, and I'm not exaggerating. Arm, talent, mobile enough, hangs on the ball a little long. I'd like him to gain about 10 pounds. Probably comes. But do you know why Brad Stevens went from Butler and got them into the Final Four back-to-back years? How could you do that at Butler? Because there is so much general mediocrity and incompetence in coaching that Brad Stevens can simply rise above stuff. This weekend, the Rams and the Vikings play. Don't be that guy, 25 years, holding on to your gig, never come up with a new idea. Life evolves. Pivot with it. Jared Goff and Case Keenum meet this weekend in what will probably be the best football game we watch. Goff's better than Keenum, but both now clearly, with the right guidance and coaching, capable.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.